Okay, welcome to Java class. We'll continue where we stopped yesterday. So we are with using blocks of code. Okay, so this block concept, blocks of code means if more than one statement based on the condition means how to execute. It is not only special to the Java. In every language, it is like that itself. Anyway, if you don't know this information, you just observe. See the same code what we written in the last class. That is class example public static void main. Inside that we written this example. Okay, if x is less than y, it will print x is less than y. Okay, and if you are assigning some value to y, and after that comparing, and you are printing x is equal to y, and you are reassigned y value, and you just verified based on the if condition. This is what you have written. Okay, now see, this blocks of code means if based on this condition. Okay, if based on the condition, if you want to write more than one statement, that means here it is only one statement, so block is not required. Okay, but when you are writing more than one statement, after condition you are writing the block. Okay, so uh, on the basis of this condition, every instruction inside the block that will be executed. Okay, so that is what the meaning of that blocks of code. It is in all the languages. Okay, block, whatever the information inside the block will be executed together based on the condition. Like that in our for loop also, same example, this is what we written. Okay, in the last class. See, now based on the condition, if you want to execute more than one statement inside the for loop. Okay, so instead of only x, I'll assign y is equal to 20 also. So inside the for loop, earlier it was only one statement. Now just I wanted to print y also, then uh, two statements. So it is not possible without this block. Okay, you can't write. If you write like that, for x equals 0, x is less than 10, x plus plus system dot out, that means only this statement will execute. It will not come to this line. Okay, if you write something here, system dot out, that means it will not come to this line itself. It will come to this line only when you are specifying the block. Okay, if you specify the block, it will execute all the statements inside the block. See this, I'll print x, I'll print y, and after that I will subtract y because I am incrementing x. Okay, I am subtracting y. So I will close the for loop, and after that close for the main loop and close the class. Okay, now if you print this result, first time you'll get 0, and after that you'll get 20, and after that you'll get x is incremented 1, and y is decremented twice. So y is equal to y minus 2. Okay, the value of y is subtracted 2, and that will be reassigned to y. Okay, that is what the meaning. So second time it becomes 18. Next it becomes 2, x is incrementing, and y is decrementing. Okay, like that you will get the output. Here in the interest is block of code. That means importance of flower bracket. That is what we are observing here. Okay, once you understood this concept, okay, we will move to lexical issues. Lexical issue is very important in the context of programming languages. Lexical issues means what? So many issues we are discussing. First one is white space. Okay, like if you observe class A, okay, and after that flower bracket, and inside that we written public static void main. Is it not? Public static void main, like that we written. See, public, after that you have given space. How many space you will give? One space, two space, or any number of space. Okay, like instead of writing that as it is public, instead of leaving one space, I'll give so many spaces, and after that I'll write static. That is it valid. That is what we are discussing. Please remember, there is no special indentation in Java. That means you are not considering any special indentation, like one space you have to give, two space you have to give, nothing like that. You can write entire program in one line itself. Leave one space, leave two space, nothing like that. After public, one space at least should be there. It is not defining two space or three space. Such things are not there. As I told, you can write the entire program in one line itself. One space you give, two space. Such restriction is not there. It will ignore more than one white spaces. That's all. That is what we are discussing. Okay, first lexical issue, white space. So Java is free form language. That means do not follow any special indentation rules. If you write all the code in one line, it will be compiled. That is what here we are discussing. And please remember, white space is a space or tab. The tab, if you give, that also consider, because one tab means 8 space, it will consider. That also considered as a space itself. Even new line, it will consider as a space. So that's what first issue, white space. Next, second concept, identifiers. Identifiers, I already told, identifier means it will start with a letter followed by any letter. Identifiers are nothing but variable. Who is new to the languages, you please remember, we repeatedly interchanging this word variable as well as identifier. Okay, variables means ABC. It is of variable length. That's what the meaning. Variables are always starting with the letter followed by any letter or digit. In this example, this is valid identifier. Valid identifier. See, letter may start with a capital letter or small letter. This is valid identifier because it started with the letter followed by letter or digit. Dollar also considered as a valid identifier. If you begin with the dollar, that also considered. You can use underscore in between. That is also valid identifier. Then what is invalid? Invalid is if it starts with the digit. That is not considered as a valid variable. If you use hyphen in between, that is also considered as an invalid variable. If you use slash in the text, okay, that is also considered as invalid variable. So this is about the identifier. Please remember, identifiers are nothing but variables. Variables is defined by the Java languages. It should start with the letter followed by any letter or digit. That is what another lexical issue. Next one is literal. When you are specifying the as it is, what actually it represents. That means if I specify in previous example, you might have observed number is equal to, we assigned, is it not? Number is equal to or n is equal to 100. If you assign, 100 is considered as integer constant. So that is represented by this. If you specify dot in between, it is considered as floating point. If you mention in single quotes, it is represented as character. If you specify in double quotes, it is considered as string. Please remember, in Java, we are not defining a sequence of array of characters or string. In Java, string is one keyword. If you mention anything in double quotes, it is considered as a string. If you mention single quote, it is considered as a character. If you use any dot in between the number, it is considered as a floating point. And if you not mention anything, if you just mention the number, it is considered as integer. So this is what literally we are telling. So literal is another lexical issue. Next is comments. In Java language, how comments are used: single line comment, multiple line comment, and document comment. This I already traced in our previous class. That means how to mention the comments. Comments are not processed by the compiler. By identifying this particular tokens, it will ignore the statement after that. That means if you write anything after this, that will not be processed by the compiler. It will identify this is a single line comment. And by observing this, it will identify it is multiple line comment. So whatever comes in between, that will be ignored. Like that, to document any program, if you wanted to document, you will mention many information about that program that is with this particular syntax. Okay, so that's what about the comments. Next is another issue, that is separators. What is separator? That I'll take you to the next slide because more detail is required. Separators, many different types of separators that we'll see. Next, along with that, Java keywords. Every language should have keywords to remember, because when you are typing the program, you already typed, I think you have observed how to type the program, and two examples we observed. There you come across many keywords, and how to remember the keywords and is it necessary, all these things I'll tell you later. Now I'll take you to separators. See this separator. First one, braces. Okay, open brace, close brace. Normally, whenever you are using function, you are using these braces. It may be blank braces, or in between that some particular variables you will mention. Okay, like that, whenever you are writing any method, okay, please remember, in Java, instead of telling function, I am using the word method. In Java, methods are nothing but function. Okay, so when I am writing any method, xyz is one method. So how you will identify it is a method? Because after variable name, there will be a open brace, and after that close brace. If you observe print system.out.print, after print there is open brace and close brace. So print is a built-in method. It is defined by the language itself. So it is defined as built-in method. The use of first separator, that is braces. Main, open brace, close brace. So main is a method. So by observing braces, you can tell it is a method or not. Next, flower bracket. That is also a separator. Block of code. I already showed the example. Block of code. Whenever you are specifying inside this flower bracket, that indicates that this is a group of statements that will be executed together. For loop, if loop, wherever in the program you can write this. You have observed that after class name we are writing the flower bracket, and after the main method we are writing the flower bracket. If you write any extra loops, there also we are writing this. So flower bracket is another separator. Next comes bracket. Bracket, so far we use it only in the argument of the main. We written here, okay, string, and after that some variable name and open brace, close brace, without mentioning anything. By observing this syntax, you are identifying that it is like an array. It is definitely an array representation, and how to use that I'll mention that in the coming classes. So far, you please remember, brackets are also a separator which is used in an array. Next, semicolon. Every statement will end with semicolon. If I mention int I is equal to 0 and after that semicolon, means that is the end of that statement. System.out.println semicolon. So that is the end of that statement. So that is what semicolon. Next, comma. To separate the variable I, comma j, comma k, I am declaring three variables by separating comma. By using comma, I am separating these variables. This is another separator. Next, dot. Dot operator is very important in Java. It is called the representation of object. System.out.print. That means system. On system, there is an object that is called out. On that, there is a statement println like that to indicate calling operator. System is calling out, that is mentioned by dot. Out is calling println, that is mentioned by dot. So dot is having very importance in Java. You will come to know in detail as we progress on this particular subject. So dot operator to invoke the object. Next, colon. Colon is used in for loop that I'll show you in coming class with example. For time being, you just remember these things. That is open braces, close brace, flower bracket, and bracket, and semicolon, comma, dot, and colon. These all are considered as separators used in Java. Next, we'll see some Java keywords. There are plenty of keywords. It is not necessary to remember all these things because Java is a language of libraries, many packages, and it is like a C. It is not possible to remember all the keywords. Whenever it is required, you have to go through the document and you have to understand which method you can use. It is not required to remember all. Only the purpose of the particular library you should know. In this itself, just so many things, just I am tracing this go to. Actually, it is listed in Java keywords, but that is not used in Java. Java deprecated, removed that go to statement. Normally, in C language, go to is used. And in advanced languages, because of the complexity they faced with the help of go to, because go to is uncontrolled. If you write go to, see one example I'll show you, one block of code. Okay, why that is removed? Inside main, I'll write C code itself, C code main, and inside that block. See there I'll mention go to some label, go to location L1. L1, I don't know where it is. L1 may be somewhere here. It is completely unstructured. If I am tracing in between the program somewhere beyond the control, the structure will not be proper and it leads to many complexities. By identifying that in Java, they removed this go to statement, and that is provided with other alternative that I'll show you when we are discussing control statements. Please remember, if somebody asks whether Java contains go to, you should definitely tell no. Earlier they introduced it, they removed immediately, and there is alternative to that. What is that alternative? That I'll tell you when it comes to control statement. Okay, so please remember, I told in the first class itself, Java is famous for rather than what it is having, what it not has. Definitely, it is not having go to statement. Also, our definition is clear. Java is famous because it is not having go to like that. Is it clear? So it need not necessary to go through this slide. Java is collection of so many keywords that you will come to know as we are progressing in learning Java. So in today's class, we written actually second program. By considering that itself, we discussed two statements. By considering yesterday's also, I am talking this if and for loops and using block of code. Then lexical issues. So lexical issues you already come across how white space and separators and identifiers, literals, and then Java keywords will be considered. By understanding this, we are moving to our next topic, that is Java libraries and data types. Before moving to next class, just I wanted to tell few informations. See, Java is a collection of packages. According to your requirement, you are using the libraries. You may be surprised by identifying, see, the two programs I have written. Normally, when you are typing the program, what happens? You are beginning with read statement. Is it not? In a C, C++, if you are already familiar, means how to read the data and how to write the data. That is what you are learning. Is it not? But here, if you see the example, just I initialize it in 10 is a number is equal to 100, and if number is greater than something like that, I process it. I not read anything from the keyboard. Directly, I initialize it there itself, and I am printing that. Please remember, in Java, if you are reading from the keyboard and writing to that means you are already proficient in Java. That's why we are not beginning with that statement. If you learn all the packages, all the syntax of Java, then only it is possible to read from the keyboard. Okay. So for our all the examples, at least for 10 to 15 class, I'll mention the variables, values, all in the program itself. I'll not read anything from the keyboard. Why? Why means I already told. Okay, if you are reading anything means at least you should have the knowledge of packages and many things. Okay, for that purpose, we'll postpone reading anything from the keyboard. All the variable declaration will do there itself. Okay, so I'll close this session. Don't miss next class. I think Friday 7:30, where we'll begin with data types of Java. Thank you. Put your attendance and close.